Hello friends, welcome to my channel Investment Sutras. Today I'm going to do the case study analysis of Franklin Templeton shutting down of its 6 credit risk debt funds, and this is going to raise a question: to what extent the debt funds are really safe for investments? What are the precautions the retail investors must take before investing in these debt funds? So as of April 23rd, Franklin Templeton announced the closure of its schemes. The combined size of these 6 schemes was 25,856,000 crore as of April 22. So these are the following 6 debt funds which were closed by Franklin Templeton India. So they are the low duration fund, dynamic accrual fund, credit risk fund, short term income plan fund, ultra short bond fund, and Franklin India Income Opportunities Fund. See, the combined size of these 6 funds was 25,856 crores. If you look at the AUMs of these 6 debt funds, you can see the Franklin India Ultra Short Term Bond Fund at an AUM of 10,964, Franklin India Income Opportunities and Low Duration Fund about 2,500 to 2,700 crore, Dynamic Accrual Fund 3,000 plus crore, and Franklin India Short Term Income Plan Fund around 7,000 crore funds. Now, what does this closure of debt funds basically mean? What are its implications on the investors? So, because of these closures, no investments are allowed into these funds in near future. No redemptions are allowed till its debt instruments are matured and sold in the market and the money is taken back and given to the investors. The SIP plans, STP plans, SW plans will stop permanently, and the schemes will never open again for buying or selling. And the funds house can return this money to the investors only after maturity period, after getting the principal amount and the interest by selling these instruments in the open market. Now, if you look at this particular case, it really raises a curiosity to know why this particular closure has happened. Now, if you look at this credit crisis, it was there somewhere in 2018 when we first noticed the credit crisis in ILFS, followed in DHFL, then later on SL group of companies, Yes Bank, and now recently the Vodafone Idea crisis. And because of this credit crisis, there was a liquidity crunch in the market, and the redemption pressure also increased because of the COVID-19 problem, and further redemption pressure was accelerated due to lockdown and no economic activity taking up in the economy. So the if you look at the overall scenario, the macro factors along with the micro factors played an important role in the closure of the scheme. And because of this pressure, liquidity pressure and credit pressure, they lost money much faster when the COVID-19 hit the Indian market in somewhere in March. And if you look at the amount of money getting redeemed in these funds between the March 2020 to April 2020, it was 4,075 crores. Now, question arises why the liquidity problem happened actually. So, why this credit problem really happened? So, when this closure related problem was increasing, parallelly there was a problem pertaining to the liquidity in the bond market. The bond market has lost its flavor. People lost the confidence in the bond market. They started withdrawing the money, and because of this, it reduced the liquidity in the bond market. And fund houses also took more credit risk as compared to other fund houses by investing in double A rated and single A rated debt instruments. And you can see that majority of the schemes of Franklin Templeton debt funds are exposed to single and double A rated instruments. In case of ultra short term duration and low duration funds, the A rated instruments are about 76% and 73%. In case of low duration and medium duration, the double A rated instruments were around 31% and 60%. And if you look at the average maturity of these debt funds, we are on from 6 months to 4 years. If you look at how this particular the mishaps, the problems snowballed into a major crisis, you will see that the Franklin Templeton has a major exposure of its investments in debt-ridden companies. As per the data of 2019 given by the Morningstar, you can see the Franklin Templeton has invested 560 crores in DHFL, 1009 crores in SL group of companies, 960 crores in Reliance ADA companies, 1088 crores in S Bank, 2058,000 crores in Vodafone Idea. So put together it comes to 5675 crore of money getting blocked. And these companies were downgraded in 2019 due to debt and liquidity crisis. Now, apart from that, there is one unstoppable redemptions were taking place. So, because of the corpus size of this funds decreased from 47,658 thousand crore to 26,779 crore as of April 20th April 2020. So you can see almost 50% of that money were redeemed within a span of 2 years. Now this is going to raise a question to the retail investors whether the debt instruments are really safer for investment, and because of that the retail investor has to know something about the basics of the debt funds, how these debt funds are going to perform. Now what exactly is a debt fund? Now debt funds are the mutual funds, which is also known as the fixed income funds. So they invest a significant portion of their money in fixed income securities such as government securities, debentures, corporate bonds, and other money market instruments. And they invest in a broad portfolio of debt instruments in order to reduce the risk and give a considerable amount of returns to its investors. So fixed return investments includes the bonds issued by the government of India, the treasury bills issued by the government of India, bonds issued by public sector enterprises, non-convertible debentures issued by private sector companies and PSUs, commercial papers of companies, fixed deposits of banks and non-banking financial corporations. So as a retail investors, we should understand two important types of risks are associated. The first risk is called as the credit risk. Now, credit risk is the possibility of loss resulting from a borrower's failure to repay a loan or meet the contractual obligations. It refers to the risk that a lender may not receive the owed principal and interest amount in due course of time, and which results in interruptions of cash flows and increased cost of collection. So this is a situation where the lender is not able to get the money on time. But if you are investing in government owned securities, is considered to be the most safer, and the risk is also considered to be almost zero. So the credit risk is almost zero in case of the bonds issued by the government of India, the debt instrument issued by government of India. So they are known as the sovereign bonds. Whereas in case of the private companies, there is always a credit risk or involved. So there are rating companies which rate the credit worthiness of these companies. There's one more risk which is called as interest rate risk. So this is the risk which increases as the value of the bond decreases. So when the interest rate decreases, the value of the bond increases. So what is basically interest risk? Interest risk is the potential for the investment losses that result from a change in the interest rates. If interest rate rise, the value of the bond will decline. If the interest rate risk is reduced by holding bonds of different duration in their portfolios. So whenever there is a decrease in the interest rates, automatically you'll see that the bond value is going to increase. So the mutual fund companies normally reduce the interest rate risk by creating a portfolio of different debt instruments. And this risk is higher when the period to maturity to a bond is higher, and lower when period to maturity is lower. So that is the reason why it is recommended to invest in shorter maturity bonds to reduce the interest rate risk. So always it is safe to invest money in a shorter maturity instruments to overcome this interest rate risk. So there are other types of risks, such as the risk arising because of default. It's called default risk, as NAV goes up and comes down, and the non-payment of interest and the principal amount by the corporates is going to create a what is called default risk, as seen in case of ILFS and Vodafone Idea. The liquidity risk is basically a risk which is related to the inability of the fund to sell its investments and meet the redemptions of the investors due to the poor market conditions. So in an event of credit crisis, the sentiments will be negative. People are not ready to buy these bonds or instruments, and redemptions becomes much difficult, and this results in the liquidity risk. And in case if something goes wrong, the mutual fund companies will not be able to sell these instruments because the the market doesn't show any interest in buying these instruments. So that is where the liquidity risk are going to increase. The CRISIL rating agencies have rated the debt instruments in different ratings, starting with a AAA highest safety recorded rating, to AA high safety, A adequately safety, till D. D is called as a default rated instrument. So if you find a debt mutual fund exposed more towards the single A, double A, or triple B, that means the risk profile of the fund is going to increase considerably. Now question arises, how to safeguard your investments in debt funds. The first thing is always invest in debt funds which has a significant diversification across the different instruments. That means if there is a combination of the high rated instruments and low rated instruments in the ratio of 80 to 20, it is considered to be a moderately well diversified investment. And always look for the debt schemes which is a bigger corpus, because bigger the corpus, the more stable it will be there. So in case of multiple redemptions, it will be able to bear the pressure. So bigger corpus size of the debt fund is always the better. A small fund which is significantly concentrated in one group of instruments is always considered to be very riskier investment. And also as a retail investor, you should look at the yield to maturity, commonly known as YTM, of a fund, and compare that with the similar funds in the category. And if you find the YTM is significantly higher than that of peers, it implies that the fund is taking more risk by investing in securities which are low credit rated, such as single A, double A, triple B instruments. And always do read the fact sheet of the debt funds before investing. Just like the equity instruments have a market risk, These debt funds do also have a market risk, so it is becomes very much important for us to read the fact sheets of the debt funds before investing. The funds which are more focused on A, double A and B rated funds should be avoided as much as possible, and always match your goal with the maturity of the fund. Now, what do you mean by this actually? So, if your goal is between 3 to 12 months, that means if you are planning to keep your money 3 to 12 months, the better option will be the liquid funds. If you're looking for 2 to 3 years, it's better to go invest in short term, medium term, long term bonds. If you're looking for till more further extension of this investment period, then better you can go for dynamic bond funds, which is more suitable for 3 to 5 years horizon, the investment period. So always diversify your investments between the debt funds as well as the fixed deposits. Imagine that you are having 1 lakh rupees, so you can divide that into 50,000 each. So one part of 50,000 you can invest in the debt fund, such as the liquid fund or ultra short duration fund or overnight funds, and remaining 50% you can keep it in a fixed deposit. Even though returns from fixed deposit is not that much favorable, still your principal amount will be much safer. If you want to take risk, so better take risk in equity market, but don't take risk in the debt funds. Invest always in liquid and overnight funds rather than a short term, medium term, and dynamic bond funds, as these funds are exposed to higher average maturity periods. So, as an investor, please try to understand this risk: market risk, credit risk, default risk, and liquidity risk. And this is the risk profile of the debt funds. If you're looking for overnight funds, the risk is very low, is very safe investment for short term. If you're looking for liquid fund, it is safe if you're keeping money for a few days to few months. Money market instrumented funds are fairly risky, so see always that 50% of your allocation is done only in this category. Remaining 50% you can keep it in liquid funds. But if you're looking for low duration, medium duration, long duration, floating rate fund, gilt funds, it's all risky. Always ensure that you don't keep more than 20%. So remaining 80% you can keep it in those instruments where it is assumed to be much safer. So always evaluate the debt fund, mutual funds. So just glance into the fund history, choose those fund houses that have a strong history of consistent performance in investment domain. Ensure that these funds are giving consistent returns, have a track record of a consistent track record for at least 5 to 10 years. So you can prefer this mutual fund companies such as HDFC, AMC, SBI, ICICI Prudential, Nippon AMCs. These are the top AMCs in India. And always look for the fund returns. You need to look for consistent returns over a period of time. So those fund houses which is consistently giving good returns for 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years is always considered to be the best one. And always look for consistent outperformance of these funds as compared to the benchmark index. And as an investor, you also should look into certain financial ratios in the funds, such as the standard deviation, Sharpe ratio, alpha, beta, to analyze the fund. A fund having an higher standard deviation and higher beta is considered to be a high risky one, whereas low beta and low standard deviation is considered to be more safer one. And also look for a fund which has an higher alpha and higher Sharpe ratio. So higher Sharpe ratio basically means it's going to give higher returns on every additional unit of risk taken by the fund manager. So look for this type of funds according to your the requirement, and try to understand the risk. If you are investing in income funds, these are the typical type of debt funds that provides a stable returns in all market scenarios through a different portfolio management. But income funds are run different type of risk. Sometimes they may give negative returns when the scenario becomes the worst case. So as and when the interest rate may drop drastic, resulting in drop in the underlying bond values. So income funds are considered to be more volatile funds. So the dynamic bond funds, here the fund managers keeps on changing the portfolio of the debt funds as in when the changes are happening in the bond market. So if the bond markets are more favorable to the long term bonds, is going to increase his portfolio. If the bonds are becoming less I mean more favorable towards the short term bonds, is going to increase allocation more towards the short term bonds. So this fluctuation is what the advantage of these dynamic bond funds, and the portfolio keeps on changing according to the market conditions. So liquid funds are most liquid, which can be easily redeemed, converted into cash, because the average maturity period of these funds will not exceed more than 91 days. If you're looking for still more riskier funds, you have what is called the credit opportunities funds. This is most riskiest type of debt funds. So they take a very calculated risk in investing in low rated instruments, potentially expecting higher returns, giving higher returns for the investors. So the fund manager is going to invest in credit opportunities funds, anticipating it to upgrade its credit ratings. So they'll invest in single A rating funds, thinking that in due course of time it's going to become a double A and triple A over a period of time. So if you want to park your money anywhere between 1 to 3 years, then you can look at the short term and ultra short term debt funds. So they also have a minimum amount of risk of exposure. Now if you're looking for low level of risk, but still if you want to ensure a safety, look for those schemes which primarily invest in government securities, which are considered to be very low level of risk are there, and generally rated quite high, because the government issued securities, the default rate is very low, and these particular schemes basically lack in risk taking ability. So this is more suitable for conservative investors who want to keep his money for the future requirements for a long period of time. And apart from that, you also have fixed maturity plans. So they just work out like a fixed deposit. So these schemes have a mandatory lock-in period, and that varies depending upon the the scheme chosen. The investment must be done once and during the initial offer period, and it will remain there till the maturity plan is going to mature out. But the FMPs or the fixed maturity plans do differ from the fixed deposits, because in case of fixed deposit the returns are assured or guaranteed, but in case of fixed maturity plans the returns are not guaranteed. So I hope that you had quite a good amount of knowledge pertaining to the debt market instruments. So what type of risks are involved, what are type of precautions you have to take, and how to safeguard your investment in the debt funds. So thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel, Investment Sutras.